What's up, guys? This is Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be breaking down the best quarterback drills to help your arm strength improve. Let's get started. But before we get into these drills, fellas, if you're a quarterback and you would like to train with myself and my staff of coaches this offseason, check out that very first link in that description below. We are coming out to 9 more states across the country for 2-day-long QB and wide receiver training camps. Next up on our camp tour, we're going to be coming out to St. Louis, Missouri. Then we'll be heading out to Honolulu, Hawaii, Boston, Massachusetts, Cleveland, Ohio, Austin, Texas, Newark, New Jersey, Seattle, Washington, Denver, Colorado, and Los Angeles, California. So if you guys are local to one of those cities and would like to train with us, 2 whole days of training, 8 hours of work over the course of a weekend with myself and again my staff of guys, check out that very first link in the description below. We'd love to have you out to one of our off-season camps. Let's get back to this video. Alright guys, so how this video is going to play out is I'm going to show you guys or teach you guys the reason why behind each drill that we do, show you the drill and explain the drill, and then show the drill full speed. And as this video progresses, these exercises and these drills are going to get more and more advanced. So it's really going to help you guys throw further and add that extra distance to your deep ball. So for this first drill, all you need is a baseball, a tennis ball, maybe even just some kind of object, maybe a towel, something that's going to force you to have to rotate your front shoulder. And I'm going to explain why that's important. So throw power, being able to get velocity, distance, is all about something called torque. Torque is something that's caused from hip and shoulder dissociation. That's a fancy word for your hips are moving separate from your shoulders. Now, a lot of guys think of throwing a football, and this is correct, like hitting a baseball or hitting a golf ball. It's the same way you can generate power because baseball hitters and golfers are both forms of rotational athletes, just like how a quarterback is a rotational athlete. We were trying to rotate from my hips and from my core. So this first drill is going to work on that specific sequence, because when you guys go to throw, what a lot of quarterbacks have been taught, old school method, is spread open to 90. As you take a step with your front foot, you want to open up to 90, pull the elbow down as a source of power, but that puts a ton of pressure on your elbow, your shoulder, and you are not using your hips and your legs, which are the 2 most important parts of a throwing motion. When you guys go to throw, remember, it's like hitting a baseball. When you take a step with your front foot, you want your front side to be slightly closed. You do not want to be the guy that opens up on the foot strike, because then we lose that torque. Torque comes from you stepping, shoulders are loaded, ball is back, weight is back, you transferring that weight to have that arm speed come through. That's why you see so many guys like Mahomes, Kyler Murray, Josh Allen, Aaron Rodgers. It all looks like they got a whip attached to their arm, and when you watch them throw, their hips always come through before the upper half. It's like a baseball swing or a golf swing. You're in the batter's box, you step, the hips go through, and the bat trails behind. That's how we want our arm to be. So the reason why this drill is great for that is because this baseball or tennis ball, whatever you have, forces you to have that correct shoulder sequence. So all you are going to do is you're going to be here, facing out to the left, ball's in your front hand. You are literally, as you take a step, it's going to be a 2-part sequence. You're going to step and switch hands, because when you switch hands, you physically can't open up. Because when you open up, you'll drop the baseball. So as that front foot gets down, the hands switch. So it's going to be a 2-part sequence. Number 1, you step and switch. Number 2, we step and throw. And focus on keeping that front side closed as we take a step with that front foot to let those hips bring that arm through. So this is a great, easy drill that you can do every single day without putting a ton of pressure on your arm and on your elbow to work on your arm strength and help you throw further. Alright guys, so I think we all can agree, just based off of the last video, that throw power, throw distance, throw velocity all comes from the ability to separate that upper body from the lower body. You need those hips to rotate through before the shoulders and before the ball does to generate power and torque on the ball. So when you go to throw, the mistake a lot of quarterbacks will make is they think they're in a position where they can actually rotate with their hips. But a lot of quarterbacks love to throw from this very wide base or improper weight distribution base. Like let's say, for example, I'm taking a 3-step drop and I'm trying to throw like a deep fade on the left. So when you land on your 3rd step, a lot of quarterbacks will drop back and they have all kinds of weight on their front side. Now, when your weight is distributed to your front side, is your back foot inside your frame or outside your frame? Most likely outside your frame. If your weight is shifted on the back leg, where's your back leg? Is it inside your frame or outside your frame? Inside your frame. Now, when your foot is inside your frame, look at how much easier it is to rotate at your hips. When your foot is outside your frame, is it easy to rotate at your hips? You will lock out because you have too much weight onto your front foot. Hence, you're not able to transfer your weight when you have a wide base or when you have an improper weight distribution base. So this drill helps you correct that, because again, remember, you generate power from separating your hips and your shoulders. But if your hips aren't in the right position to rotate, you're not going to get power anyways, even if you stay back with your shoulders. So on this drill, you need a ball, you need a partner to throw to. Maybe you don't even throw. You could do this with like a towel. You don't even have to come through with the ball. But you're gonna work on here, you're gonna take the last 2 steps of a 3-step drop. So you're gonna go left, right, you're gonna pause on one foot, because when you pause on one foot and you have to balance on one foot, look where it is, inside your frame. It doesn't allow you to be outside your frame. Your weight's gonna distribute forward if your foot is too far. So you're gonna drop back, left, right, hold on one foot. Then once you come to balance, set your left foot down lightly, and then go to throw, because that forces you to have to get your weight back and underneath your frame when you're on that single step, and that is what will get your hips to rotate through on a throw. I'm gonna show you this is gonna look semi-full speed. All right, guys, so when you are throwing a deep pass, you're trying to put this ball 40, 50 yards downfield, usually what's the footwork that you're doing? Like, let's say it's man coverage across the board, you're dropping back, you got a four verts play. What's probably the drop you're taking? Probably a 3 and a hitch, right? So when you take that 3 and a hitch, or a lot of guys nowadays do that shuffle drop or that like back pedal drop, but there's always a hitch involved, because that's what it takes to get more distance and more arc on the ball. Now, the mistake a lot of young quarterbacks make is that when they take that hitch, they never reassess and get their weight loaded to their back foot. So they'll take this 3-step drop, they'll go to hitch up, but they leave that weight onto their front side. Now remember from the last example, why was that bad? Why do we not want to leave weight onto my front side? Because when you leave weight onto your front side and you hitch up, your back foot's outside your frame, your hips can't rotate, your weight's forward, you're not gonna separate those shoulders, and we're gonna push the ball, decreasing my arm strength. So this drill will help you fix that problem. So all you're gonna be doing is just essentially replacing your feet. So you're gonna be lined up here, weights on your front foot. All we're doing is replacing my left foot with my right foot. And on the third part of this sequence, we're gonna let go on a throw to a partner, to a net, or maybe you have a towel. So you're gonna be here, weight on the left, you're gonna replace. And notice how my weight stays back. This foot is underneath my armpit. Then I go back here. Replace 2, go back here, replace 3, and then I throw, because now my foot is inside of my frame and I can get those hips to actually rotate through to generate power on this ball. So you wanna do this with a football because you also wanna add a good throw to this. I'm gonna show you this is gonna look full speed. All right, guys, so now when guys have that correct base, so where their back foot is underneath their frame like we talked about, where they hit the top of their drop, they're in this good base, their base is narrow, what everybody loves to do is they love to push off of their back foot and they have this real long stride. That's why old school coaches, you know, like old school quarterback coaches, and again, it's no fault of their own, but the position continues to evolve every single year, and you have to evolve with it. You can't be that guy that's so old school with your methods that you're not open to change and open to a new idea, even if it's more efficient, because you're afraid to be wrong, right? You've been teaching something forever, and you're afraid to be wrong, and that's gonna make your players worse if you're a coach watching this type of thing. So a lot of guys used to teach, oh, you want your feet to be outside of your frame, wide base, so you could push off of this back foot, and that stride will come down quick because your stride is essentially already there. But when you know this, when that back foot's outside your frame, can you rotate with your hips? Most likely no, that leg is going to extend out, you're not going to get hip rotation, and then when you go to throw, those shoulders are going to come through ahead of those hips. Now listen, it might work for some guys, but you can get very good at a bad habit, and it's not sustainable when you have all those throws with only your elbow and only your shoulder, because you're throwing all arms. So you guys, when you guys narrow the base down, those guys who have that short stride because of the wide base, when we finally get you to narrow the base down, you want to take the long stride because you're comfortable out there. That's the timing of your stride normally because you're really wide. So this drill is a great way to limit that stride, because now when you get to this position, good base, and the stride gets down, look at how much more power we could get with those hips. So you need a circle of cones. I've done this with a hula hoop before. I've done this with maybe like hurdles before, but some kind of circle that you need to step in, and make sure that it's maybe, I would say, from where you normally, like your narrow stance, like 6 inches from your front foot. So all we are going to do is literally just play catch in this cone circle, in this hula hoop, to force you to have to get your front foot down. Because if you step really long, you're gonna step on the cone. If you step really long, you're gonna step out of the hula hoop or the circle or whatever you're in. So this forces you to get the front foot down and to build that good muscle memory with that hip rotation to make you a better, more consistent, and have more velocity on your throws and as a passer. All right, guys, so another reason that so many people lack arm strength is lack of mobility in their shoulder, right? So you've probably seen it before, guys, you know, are super like bulky bulked out, buffed out, and they go to throw and they're very tense and they have no range of motion and they can't get their elbow off of that rib cage. And it's because they lack mobility in their rotator cuff. So this is just a couple easy exercises that you guys can do to loosen up the inside part of your rotator, back part of your rotator cuff, to make you a more efficient passer, but also to improve that flexibility in your arm. You see guys like Patrick Mahomes all the time. They go to throw and his arm is almost like parallel to the ground. You see guys like who have the hips go through before their shoulders, they almost have that whipping effect, and that rotator cuff is extremely loose. And these drills will help you with that. So first one is just flex T. So flex T is where you're holding up at 90 degrees. It's like a baseball warm up. You want to try to flex your shoulder blades together the best you can, and you are literally just going to rotate down and turn the palms outward. That will loosen up the inside part of that rotator cuff, and you do not want to let your elbows drop down in this. Keep a perfect 90-degree position, palms outward. You could do that maybe for 50 reps, I guess you could say. And you could do it while you're walking as well. This is also great for stability in this position, but you could walk and do this at the same exact time. You could walk and hold it if that feels like it's a good stretch for you as well. Then you could obviously go the opposite way. Instead of palms outward, you go palms inward to loosen up the outside part of the rotator cuff. So those two exercises are great habits that you can get into before every throwing session to loosen up your rotator, which ultimately can help you throw farther. All right, guys, I really want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you have any questions at all, don't hesitate to leave those in the comment section below. We always appreciate the feedback. It's always great to hear from you guys. And again, fellas, if you're a quarterback and would like to train with us this offseason, we're coming out to 10 more states across the country, 2-day-long QB and wide receiver camps. So if you want some more information on that, how you can sign up, check out that link in that description below.